what is like the general consensus behind of of the dwarfism community? What's the general consensus of shows like, like on TLC that are involve little people, or like for example, like wrestling events that are only little people who are wrestling, like is that stuff frowned upon? Like, is there like a beef between like people who want to partake in that and don't want to partake in that stuff? You know what I mean? Like, do the people on those shows get judged? Do those wrestlers get judged? Or TV stars and movie stars? You get my question? Like, is there like a weird thing?
It's 100%. It's 100%. It's split down the middle.
Okay.
There's people that are all for it, and there's people that are totally against it. You know what I mean? But like, it's one of those things where at one point, I was all against it. I was just like, you know what? No way. Like, come on. Like, that's like exploiting yourself, everything. But then again, like, if those people are comfortable with doing it, like I have friends that are comfortable with themselves being called midget. I don't approve of it. My wife doesn't approve of it, and our daughter is not going to approve of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let me take that back. My daughter feels comfortable being called that, then she can be called that, but respectfully so, I don't want her to be called that, And it's like one of those things where there are people that like are okay with it, and there are people that like are not okay with this. There's like people that go above and beyond to make sure that people know that they're not okay with it. And it's just like, listen, like, if you are okay with like this type of living and doing that type of stuff, like, for example, also like dressing up as an elf, or like, being like an Oompa Loompa, or like something like that, it's just like, it's not really my thing. But if it's your thing and it makes you happy and it gets you like paid in order to live, like, then so be it. Like, like, I don't want to do that, but like, you're totally open to do that. So it's like, it's very like on both. There's two sides really, and like, it's just like and honestly, that's an okay thing. Like, it is what it is. But like, when it comes to like one person, that one person should not be known to be comfortable with either side. They should be known to be comfortable what they're actually comfortable with. Meaning, like, if that person is like me, or he doesn't, do the wrestling and is not comfortable with like, being called midget and stuff like that, then don't automatically assume that it's okay to be like, oh yeah, well, you're a midget.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, oh no, you're like a little person, or like, you're Vinny, like, because there's also people out there that don't even like using the word little person or dwarfism, where it's just like, no, my name is Vinny, you know what I mean? Like, call me by my first name or anything, and like, that's fine, and like, everybody has their ways of doing it. And I think with society, it's just like, yo, you need to like, people need to learn that, and people need to understand that, and like, kind of like realize that like, yo, we're humans just like everyone else. We may have a disability, but we still have a heart and soul like everyone else. And like, it's just like, don't let my, what you see on the outside, like, is very unique. Okay. And it's very unique and it's beautiful, but also like, just because you think it's different, don't make me feel different. I'm just like you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge part of it too.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think everyone has the right to, I guess, put some thought towards what they're comfortable with.
Right.
And unfortunately, that causes division. But I mean, there's no way around it. It's just like,
right.
You can only control yourself. Yeah, because it's like, for example, like you said, you're Vinny first, and then you might consider yourself, a father second, or a husband, or a podcaster, a musician. You're all these things. Who happens to be a little person? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus I'm a little person and I do this, and I think that's how. Right. A lot of it should be framed, and I think that's how I think of it. Like I'm Lance,
100%.
who does all this stuff. I just happen to have retinitis pigmentosa. And I think, I think that's that's personally healthy for me to think that way. Some people really want to promote, a little harder than myself. They'll be like, some people are more like vocal advocates for things like that.